Hey there, it's a few minutes later on the HLI kilt. I've opened up the inside, I've taken off the lining, and I have to remind myself that it's very, very easy to be critical of other people's methods, and that just because they're my methods that they're not necessarily the best. But in the same way, I have ways that I do things. So I'm going to be trying to be fair. So the lining is coming out. It has come out. I tailor mine to to shape. This is a straight piece that's been folded with darts, and then the darts sewn in. I don't do it myself. I do it a flat piece and a little bit loose, because I believe that the lining needs to move a little bit in relation to the cloth, and I believe it needs to be a little bit loose like this, because that helps the shirt stay tucked in. But be that as it may, so that's taken out. We see the top band has been sewn with a machine, which is fairly common in kilts of this quality. We were laughing, I have to say this, laughing at how crude the A-line is on this. It's not even faired out. It's just an angle, and we're going to fix that. That's not going to happen. That's not going to continue. The canvassing, it's sewn in properly with the herringbone and the right orientation. I personally don't like splicing a piece together, but it seems to be strong enough, so I have to pass that as being okay. Not how I would do it, but that's okay. This, on the other hand, this is a freaking train wreck. This is a dumpster fire. This is the buttonhole, and we can see why it blew out. The bar tack, the reinforcing tack, is entirely inadequate. It's vestigial. It's the appendix of bar tacks. It's the T-Rex arms of bar tacks. It's there, but it didn't do anything. So, but the other thing, we don't have any real seam allowance here. This is the second pleat sewn to the first pleat beside the bar tack, and there's only about a 3/8 of an inch of seam allowance, and it's frayed at the end. I don't dare take this apart, because if this one is as narrow as that one, I risk pulling the cloth apart, and then we're in deep trouble. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this canvas out. I'm going to remove. People have infarcts sometimes when they see me do this. This is how easily sewing machine stitches can go. What I'm going to do is get this canvas out, and I'm going to match, because we're not going to be using this top band again, I'm going to match a piece of the top band to the set. Let's say it's like, there we go, it's like that. In fact, I might even just use this piece, and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to sew it down. I'm going to put in the canvas. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to line it up against, as near as possible, as near as prudent, along this, and sew this down so that the canvas is properly attached, because when we do it to the other side, we want the canvases to have some connection. Ideally, they'd be overlapped. We can't do it in this case, but by bringing both canvases together under a folded over piece, we can then do a proper bar tack, which will hold it and do the job. And incidentally, Parker just pointed this out to me, is that the fact that this buttonhole has become almost twice its usual width, that might account for the problems in fitting, this being too low. So I decided now that I'm not going to take an inch off the top of this kilt. I'm going to lower the buttonhole a little bit and restore it to its proper size, and then send it back to him. And if it isn't quite right, I'll say, okay, send it back again. I'll fix it again. So we fix one thing at a time. We isolate our factors and try each of them, rather than shoot a bunch of solutions at the puzzle, because afterwards, if it worked, we don't know which of the solutions actually did the difference. So, I'm going to lower the buttonhole a little bit. I'm going to sew these pieces in, covering the ends of the canvas, so that when the lining goes back in, it's not going to look like a train wreck when you look it through this hole. It's going to have a new lining, properly done my way. Because the other factor is, when we're doing an alteration, it's like the Hippocratic Oath, first do no harm. We don't want, there's a time and a place for drastic measures that can't be reversed. And this is not it, because this is an issue kilt, and it's going to be worn after this fellow ends his service. So we're going to do an alteration that will work for him and work absolutely properly for him, but can be reversed in the future if this kilt next goes to a slightly taller soldier who needs that buttonhole adjusted up again. So we're not gonna tailor ourselves into corners, so to speak. So what I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna take apart the aprons. I'm going to, and this is always fun / terrifying, is pulling apart seams where you're really not used to the cloth and you're a little bit unsure how much tension to use because you don't want to harm the cloth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the aprons flat. I'm going to completely undo the seams of the aprons. I'm going to press them flat, press these creases out, and then let it dry overnight. And then tomorrow morning I'll carry on. And that will be reshaping the aprons to the new dimension, lowering the buttonhole, canvassing, and carrying on. Because with luck, what's today? Thursday. With luck, if I push myself a bit, I can have this done on Sunday. I can have it into the post on Monday. He'll have it Friday after New Year's. So let's see how this goes. Cheers.